Hello, welcome. My students call me Miss Marnie, and I have the privilege of teaching in a multi-grade single teacher school. I started teaching 3 years ago as a substitute covering a 3-month leave for another teacher, and she never ended up returning, so I'm still teaching. Although I had served as an aide and an art teacher and a sub prior to going into my current school, I had and I still have a lot to learn about creating a positive classroom environment that encourages both independent and collaborative learning. I found that advice from other teachers is invaluable, so I'm going to share some things that I do in my classroom with others who might be just starting out. Um, First of all, I always try to start the day off positively. I greet every student at the door as they enter with a smile. If the students come in looking tired or sad, I ask them how their evening was, or what happened since the last time that I saw them. I try to help them process things and wake up or cheer up. I'll sometimes joke with them or empathize with them about, oh, it's raining. I wish I was home in bed too, or whatever it is. We talk a little bit as they come in the door. When they come into the classroom, their desks are marked with their name tags, and they're usually grouped by grades initially as we start the year. Um, in my one-room school setting, I do sometimes, as the year goes on, rearrange the desks to address how students are getting along or not getting along in order to keep the classroom functioning properly. I also have a classroom job board. Each student is given a job each week. They might be a bathroom janitor, they might wipe the tables after lunch, they might be the chaplain or the pledge leader, and they have to learn to do those jobs whether they like them or not. I encourage them to do each job well and to realize it's an important part of keeping our school functioning properly and helping us all to get along and enjoy our time together. When students come in the morning, we start out with our morning routine. We start with the pledges and we take prayer requests. I listen to the prayer requests from each of the students. I discuss them with them if that's applicable. And then our chaplain for the week actually has to remember the prayer requests that were shared and pray for them. And, the kids, they learn to enjoy their leadership roles as they, lead the pledges or as they stand as the chaplain for the week. And for some of them, that's a scary learning experience, but it's good for them. It helps them to stretch and grow, and every job is important. So after we're done with prayer, we actually sing. And one thing that my students really like to do is sing. And I allow the kids to choose songs. There are times when I'll only allow 3 students to choose songs, but I often find that it works really well to let all of my students, this past year I had 8 students, so to allow each student to choose a song. Now I have grades 1 through 8, so the little kids tend to choose, happy, childish songs like Father Abraham. We sing that a lot. Jesus Loves Me. Whereas the older kids will choose more contemporary songs. Whatever they choose, they enjoy having that opportunity to have something that they each enjoy to start off the morning, and they enjoy sharing new songs with each other as well. Specifically the upper graders, they will search out a song that they want to share with their friends, and this is great because I have a heavy non-Adventist presence in my school, and those children that are, having a Christian connection in their home and want to share good Christian music with their friends that might not listen to that outside of school, they get the opportunity to bring good messages to their friends and share the gospel through, choosing good music. So that's an awesome thing for each of the kids to get to do that. And, it's important for each of them. In a single teacher school with students at different grade levels, I have to encourage some independent learning as well as collaborative learning from my students. So after we're done with our morning routine and our worship, and we do Bible class, we go into math class. And for those that are in upper grades, I encourage those students to start out working on IXL to pre-learn their math before I go over it with them. And they can also, I give them the option of choosing to use a YouTube taught lesson that goes with their math curriculum. And some of them do really well watching a teacher on YouTube teach their lesson, and then they're able to go ahead and do that with some, sometimes some help from me, that I make sure that they understand it before I just let them go, because I've had students just watch the videos and they just, it goes over their heads and they don't really get it. So, and then there are other students, like the younger grade students, first and second grade, they don't do well with YouTube instruction videos for math in particular. So I will, one-on-one teach them, or I will instruct the older students that have some talent and some willingness to teach the younger graders their subject. I will let them teach the math. I mean, first and second grade math can be fairly simple, but it's also a good review of ground up skills for those upper graders as well. I mean, they're not doing all of that, addition and subtraction and, the basic multiplication all the time from the ground up, but they do use it all the time. So they're well capable of teaching it if they're willing. And those that aren't willing, and those that don't seem to have that talent, they watch their peers teaching the younger graders, and it encourages them to try to step up and try to help the younger students and teach the younger students. And if they're not good at math, they might, help them with their reading and help them decode words and listen to them read. All of the students can help each other and work together on things as we go through the day, and I encourage them to do so. This year, I also used a socio-emotional learning curriculum called Frenzy in my classroom. Frenzy helps students learn positive social skills like teamwork and thinking of others before themselves. And, there are a lot of nice collaborative activities in that curriculum which get the students working together. At times, I assign the students to groups to complete their activities. Other times, I would just choose group leaders and allow the group leaders to choose group members. Either way, all of the group members, they need encouragement to stay on task, and some of them need to be reminded that it's important to work with their team, not just observe or try to skip out on doing their part of the work, and not to try to just switch teams randomly to go work with someone that they'd rather work with. They need to stick together with whoever's in their group and actually help in that group and share their talents with that group of students. It encourages, mixing and working with students that they might not always want to work with, but it's a very good skill to learn. I'm also constantly reminding my students that they need to treat others as they want to be treated in every situation. That's a big struggle for a lot of students, because they're selfish at times and they only want to think about what's good for them, not how their behavior impacts others. I also allow students to choose certain things, whether they're working away from their desk. As long as they're staying on task, they can work together on things. I allow them to choose PE games at times so that they can do games that they enjoy and not always get stuck doing the same thing over and over. I think it's important for them to have those choices, but then there are plenty of times when I do the choosing and I say, this is what we're going to do and you need to participate even if it's not your favorite thing. And it builds that collaborative team environment and that family environment in the school. Ultimately, teaching in a multi-grade classroom requires clear, consistent rules, respect, hard work, collaboration, cooperation, and a lot of prayer and patience. When students struggle to cooperate, I find that certain consequences carry more weight than others. One-on-one discussion of issues is preferable, but if that doesn't help, I will delay recess or lunch, or I will give them extra writing or learning assignments to help them adjust and refocus on, behavior. Caring for students, listening to them, and helping them to want to develop their talents for God is hard work of eternal value. So stay prayerful and positive as you teach and as you continue to learn, because teaching and learning is a lifelong job.